I'm here with Joe Merino. He's the stepfather of Frank Ordonez.
Yes.
As you all know, who was tragically killed in a horrific incident yesterday in South Florida, as you all saw. Tell me, first of all, my sincerest condolences to you and your entire family.
Thank you.
And we're here for you.
Thank you.
And just tell me, let's start off from the beginning yesterday. Where were you when you got word that something had terribly happened?
I had just gotten home, and the oldest brother phoned my wife and I and told us that there was a UPS driver that was hurt in an attempted robbery. We didn't have all the details, and I said it's impossible because Frank has a ride in Coconut Grove and he drives a 24-footer, and this is in Coral Gables and he drives a P400, which is a much smaller truck, so it could have been him. But then as he was watching the news, as he got closer and there was a close, so they zoomed in and he recognized it as his brother. So that's how that happened, and we ended up, he was informed that he was at the trauma center, and Joe DiMaggio at Hollywood Memorial, and he wasn't there until the FBI told us that they came and gave us the news that he died at the scene. So that's basically what happened. I'm disappointed because of the actions that the police decided to use. The force, in which I understand there was over 6,000 bullets. I understand that they're here to serve and protect, but I don't know what they serve, but they certainly did protect my son. He's certainly a victim. He was a hostage. And my question, I have lots of questions. Where's the accountability? Where's the responsibility, the recklessness? Where's the SWAT team? Where's the SWAT negotiator? Where's the sniper? These questions need to be answered, and these are the questions that I have. And we have no answers. We haven't heard from any of the police departments other than the FBI. So we're seeking answers, and we're seeking accountability. Not only did these officers that went home that night to their families and kissed their wives and children, Frank never had that opportunity. And by not having that opportunity, there's a loss of life. And he leaves behind a 3-year and a 5-year-old. 2 girls. So if you ask me, if you ask my opinion, I'm going to use a strong word, and I've been using all day. He was murdered. Because as you can see on the video, he's crawling down on the passenger side. He's still alive. He's trying to get away. Someone asked me last night or this morning, well, how can you tell who killed who killed Frank? I said, well, the robber was in front of him shooting, and there was return fire. There were 30 to 40, the truck was riddled with 30 to 40 bullets. When they shot back, they must have missed quite a few times because they killed Frank. When we saw him move, I think he was trying to get underneath the truck. Then he doesn't move anymore. And that's sad, because where's the police protocol in these situations? We've heard many times, we've seen situations on TV where they follow until there's an area where they can move in. This is the middle of rush hour. Are you aware that someone else got killed?
Yes.
There was another victim that
By
got killed.
an innocent bystander in a car.
Innocent bystander in a car was shot in the head. So I don't know where that came from, and whether it's the robbers or the police, but it seemed like there was chaos, no organization, miscommunication, and not enough, maybe too many chiefs and not enough Indians.
A lot of people who watched this, a lot of people from all over the world who saw this live on television yesterday were concerned because many people were saying, well, as they cornered the UPS truck and as your son was getting out, officers were obviously shooting at the truck. At the same time, they were also using innocent bystanders, people who are in rush hour traffic, as shields while the shootout is going on. Exactly. What do you say to that?
It's hard to believe that several departments from several cities would not be in cahoots with one another and come up with a plan of action. But deadly force? That's a bit over the top. And all I want here is justice. I want accountability. I want a full investigation, and we haven't had any issues. No one from any police department has contacted us. It's now 24 hours later. Only the FBI contacted us, and I'm being told that he's now there in charge. So, still no response, no explanation, no details. Benefit of the doubt, I don't know. It's troubling because it seems like we all feel like we're in a dream, we're in a bad dream, and we're going to wake up from this dream. And unfortunately, it's becoming more and more reality as the days go by. It's now been 24 hours, and right now we are devastated. The girls, the brothers, the mother, we're all devastated because he was a humble young man. He was 27 years old. He was a homebody. He worked for his little girls. He never used drugs. He didn't drink. He didn't smoke. Just a homebody young man, very respectful, mature, and loving. And now we're left with the girls not having a father. But yet those police officers went home that night, and they kissed their kids good night, and they kissed their spouses good night. And Frank didn't have that chance. He wasn't given a chance. He was a victim. He was a hostage. He was not armed. He had a brown UPS uniform that coincided with the brown truck. Why shoot recklessly and kill the hostage? I think I'm not an officer, and I'm police, and I don't pretend to be one, and I don't have all the answers. I'm looking for answers. The professionals are the ones that should give us answers, because there was no accountability. It was chaos. When you have 6,000 plus bullets flying through the commotion and victims dying, innocent victims, innocent bystanders dying, somebody has to answer for this. Whether it's one police department or several or all of them, they need to answer for this. There was no leadership there.
What do you think could have been done differently? What do you think could the officers or department could have done differently?
I'm not an expert, but I'm going by what we've seen in the past of situations, intense situations with the police, confrontations with hostages, and the local police has surrounded the house. They waited for SWAT. They waited for hostage negotiator. They obviously have snipers in place, and everybody's uncovering behind the police squads. And 9 out of 10 times, it becomes a successful negotiation, and the hostage is freed, and the assailant gives himself up. And that didn't happen here. I wish that would have happened. Protocol was not used here. It wasn't applied, and that's why we have so many people dead.
You feel like that when the first bullets are fired, that all protocol goes out the window, and people are just going on gut instinct and perhaps a little machismo and running on adrenaline and things like that. Do you think that's a possibility?
I'm not going to speculate at this time. I'll leave that to the professionals. Certainly, that's not my field of expertise. I'll leave I'll leave the police department to answer that question for you, because I don't want to speculate. I'm not a professional. I'm not an expert in the field. That's for them to judge. That's for them to investigate. And I hope that's a fair answer.
It is. It's very fair. Thank you.
A lot of people were pretty much traumatized from what they saw on television dealing with your son. Tell us what kind of person was Frank to you?
Well, before I say that, traumatized, as the mother that hasn't slept all night, as the stepfather and the sisters and the brothers that haven't slept all night, that's us being traumatized. Again, going back to a bad dream that we haven't woken up yet, but reality is setting in after 24 hours that Frank's not coming back. Frank was a humble young man, like I stated earlier, homebody type person, never used drugs in his life, didn't drink, didn't smoke, was dedicated, devoted to his 3 and 5-year-old. The girls were his life. He wanted a future for his girls. He wanted now that he was going to get a steady route at UPS starting in January, because he was a cover driver, meaning that he had reached seniority to the point that he was on the top of the list, and he was able to be issued a route that he would do every day, a steady route, we call it, and he never got that opportunity. You know, I'll give you an example. When he bought Jordans for himself and for the girls. He was that type of father. You see these decorative, all these decorations, Christmas decorations. Quick story. My wife wanted it, went to Walmart, and she didn't. The box didn't fit in the trunk. He heard about that, and Saturday he bought it and put them all up. This Christmas tree, all the decorations inside, helped his mom because they love Christmas. They love the month of December. It's a time for festivities, and now that he's gone, our Christmas has ended.
And what would you like to tell people in the community? I'm sure you've gotten a lot of support, even from people you might not even know.
Right.
What would you like to tell folks who have been monitoring this situation, this story, until now?
Well, I appreciate their support. I appreciate the fact that it's been overwhelming. I have a daughter in London that when I called her yesterday, she was boarding, she couldn't talk, so they had to tell her to turn off the phone. She called me this morning saying, "Honey, I'm here, Daddy, and I've heard what happened." So I guess it's gone viral, but the support has been overwhelming. The support. One station, radio station, Spanish radio station, it's a former police officer that's on that station. He's the only one that's backed the police. Everyone else, and I forget his name. To me, he's irrelevant, but I want to mention that he's the only one that sided with the police. I think myself and my family and the rest of the world, because this has gone viral, sees that they're all supporting us. They're all with the family. They're all on the side of the family. And don't believe me, look at the video. There's several angles of the video. That says the story. You don't have to take my word for it. Look at the video and make your decision. You decide. I'll leave it up to you to decide. The community decide by looking at the video, and then make a comment or support me or support the family or support the police. We're a free country, so we're entitled to our opinion, and I'm giving you my opinion. And I can say this is a strong word I'm going to use, but my son was murdered. Premeditated murder. Because he was crawling out that truck to go underneath the truck for cover. Why not give him a chance to crawl out and then shoot the robber? Shoot him dead. I'm glad they're dead. Heck, I don't want them alive. What, to serve 30 years and get probation? I understand that one of them had spent 10 years. The other one was locked up as well for a couple of years for robbery. Robbery. And he's back on the street doing the same thing. And it costs an innocent bystander, it costs Frank's life. That's the justice system. That's another story for another day. But I believe that the police acted very disorganized, very reckless, forceful. Again, 6,000 plus bullets. That's a lot of bullets. With only one man standing and the hostage. Let the hostage get away. His back was turned. The robber was in front of the police. Frank was trying to get away. He never saw Frank move. If they would have given him a split second, a couple of seconds to go underneath the truck and then shoot him dead, that would have been fine with me. But then our son would be alive. I'm being as rational as I can, and I've reasoned all this out. And by looking at the videos, they never gave him a chance. Like my wife said, they took my son's life. They could have given him a chance to get away. That robber would have never seen him because he had his back turned. I mean, there's no way he could have seen him getting away. Why didn't they wait? They should have waited until he crawled underneath the truck and then killed him. But it didn't happen that way. They jumped the gun, so to speak. Anyway, That's my story.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thank you,
Sorry
sir.
for your loss.
Thank you.
May I get your name? I don't know. What
Joe.
Joe.
Last name is Merino. M-E-R-I-N-O.
Okay, Joe. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
So sorry for your loss.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And my last question, Joe. I know earlier that your daughter was a little bit distraught. As you were mentioning earlier, someone called her and
There's some
said,
pictures on Instagram that were sent to her of the dead body.
"Do you guys have any idea who
I
may
don't
have
know.
done
They're
that?"
trying to find out. Telemundo and Univision, they're trying to find out. Fusion is trying to find out what this is all about. They sent it to her, and it was disturbing photos. I don't know how that leaked out, but it's not appreciated. It's not the time to do that. Those are the kind of shady, with no scruples, when people do that. It only hurts the family.
Joe, thank you so much again. Our thoughts and prayers are with you and your entire family.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.